that is shared.
Unity Spotlight with I am the. I think I need to clear the cache on my computer because it's moving slow. Come on, stop.
The cache.
There we go. Page. Let's see. Hashtag.
See,
retro gaming.
is it cache or is it cache? So
Cache.
I've heard people say cache. I've heard people say cache, just like GIF and GIF.
Yeah.
There's a whole.
Yeah.
I say cache.
Yeah, I don't like cache. That makes it sound like it's like.
It's weird.
Yeah, it makes it sound fancy.
Yeah, it's yeah. I can't afford to clear cache.
Oh my God! Come on. I think a lot of it is Chrome.
Oh well, yeah. Chrome needs a lot of RAM.
Yeah, since I switched to Mac, I haven't really used Chrome. I just when I'm doing shows, I use Safari.
You switched to Mac.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry to hear that.
Well, you know.
Well,
It's my cross to bear.
I gotta move everything back over to Safari too. It's such a pain having to move all the passwords and all that stuff back over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I joke about Mac and everything, but they're good machines. Apple makes good products.
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna. You know, I had an iPhone for a couple of years, and you know, I liked it for what it was. It was great. But I just deep down I'm just stuck on Android. So
yeah, it's really hard.
you know, I like certain things. You know, you get used to it.
It's just hard to move ecosystems when you get used to something, you know?
Yeah, it really is.
All right, I think I can go ahead and close that out. All right, we're good to Twitch, so closing as many tabs as I can so I can be as efficient as possible. All right, I am good to go. All right, here in 3, 2, 1. Do you like this show and you want to help support us? Do you want us to stay ad-free? Do you want me to stop hitting my microphone? Of course you do. You want those extra episodes every month, so head over to patreon.com/nerdcaveretro and become a Patreon supporter of this very show. Programs and welcome back to the Nerd Cave Retro Show. My name is Jason Robbins.
My name is Derek Diamond.
And we have a guest this evening.
Yes, we do.
He is one of our best supporters. He's been there for a long, long time and always retweeting us. And he's a part of our Discord community. He's the administrator who is allowed to kick people off of my Twitch channel. It is Carlos Longoria, aka I Am the Rampage. Welcome to the show.
Greetings. Thanks for having me.
You know, you would think after like 8 years of podcasting, I would learn not to hit the microphone when I'm doing anything.
Well, you know, with you know, it's all about the setup, the practice. But even the best sometimes stumble, you know.
It's like it's
all good.
It's not like it's even in the way of anything. It's just like it's right here in the middle. oh, I just pulled that out. That's not supposed to do that. So professional tonight. Wow. This is going great.
Love your setup. It's awesome.
So what we like to do
Yeah,
is,
I personally I need to get a mic.
Oh yeah. Well, actually, I would suggest actually going to Walmart because you can get a Yeti at Walmart now. I saw one there the other day. It's like a Yeti Mini, and looked pretty cool.
Yeah,
I was like, wow, I might actually get one of those just to have it. like as a
I
backup.
think I think the one they have at the Walmart, they have a couple of them at Walmart that are by Yeti. I think it's the blue snowball. I think is the small one, and it's like
Yeah,
$50.
yeah.
So I think that's the one.
They're good microphones. If you were looking for a good USB microphone, you can't
Yeah,
you could do a whole lot worse than a blue microphone.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, this is actually one of our monthly episodes we like to do. We have on we do our community spotlight, and we'll just kind of do this like a normal episode. We'll we'll actually start with Derek and tell us how your week went.
It's been good. It's been just kind of a normal, normal kind of work week. Um, Still doing a lot of podcast prep, with this show and then my show with its 300th episode coming up, which I can officially
Hmm.
say now because it's happened. I got to interview Mr. Dante Hicks himself,
Yes.
Brian O'Halloran, for it'll be part of my 300th show. And I got to give a shout out to Jason for helping set it up. I called in a favor, if you will, and yeah, we did the interview this past Sunday, so it was a lot of fun to do. It
Yeah.
was really cool, and I can't wait for everybody to hear it.
He's such a cool, easy person to get along with. It's just like just text him and be like, "Hey, will you do one of my buddy's podcast?" He's like, "Sure." I'm like, "Okay, well that was easy." But
No,
yeah,
it was a lot of fun.
I can't wait to hear it. I always like to hear him get interviewed and stuff. So, and I'm pretty sure that when you do your next short film or whatever you're gonna do next, I'm pretty sure he would be more than happy to if you fly him down and take him to the casinos. He'll be more than happy to be part of your movie or short film, whatever it's gonna be.
I'll have to drive to your neck of the woods for the casinos, but I think it'd be
Yeah,
worth it.
it's not that far of a drive. It's only an hour and a half.
Yeah,
He's a
not that
big
bad.
blackjack player. You mentioned blackjack to him, and he lights up like a Christmas tree, man. Dude, that dude loves some blackjack. Me, I'm not me. I every time I've gone to the casino and I lose like $10, I will weep. I don't like
I've been
losing money.
Well,
I've been to the casino like one time. This was like just a couple of years ago, and we went to one of the local ones here, and I think we, took $20 because I had never been, and I'm not, made of money, so I was like, $20, that'll
Yeah.
last a while, and it really did, because I stuck with all the, the nickel slots and
Hmm.
things, so I stuck with all the cheap stuff just to have fun. Really, we went for the buffet,
Yeah.
but which was fantastic. But the slots were a lot of fun, and then towards the end, I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna play until I lose it all, and we were there for like a good 3 hours on $20,
Yeah.
so so it lasted a good while.
But see, that's
But
where they get
it
you,
was
like
a
with the
blast.
penny slots and the nickel slots. Like you
Yeah.
think, oh, I'll play these for a while. But the thing is like the top bet's like $1.
Oh yeah.
It's like
yeah.
Oh yeah.
if you want to actually win anything, you have to do like
Yeah.
max bet, or you're gonna just because if you hit, you're shit
Yeah.
out of
You
luck.
get You get 17 cents.
Yeah.
Man, I did pretty good.
So what about
High
you?
roller.
What about you, Carlos? How's your week been? You been playing anything good?
Uh, a lot of a lot of Fortnite with Wally.
Yeah.
Um, which I'm actually, what's funny is I actually tried Fortnite. Back when it came out in like what 2017 or whatever it was. I tried it like one time.
Mm.
I played like 2 rounds and died like almost instantly as soon as I hit the ground. So I was like, nah, this game's not for me. And I started playing other things which were similar, but had already been out, like PUBG, and then I got into playing a lot of Call of Duty Mobile
Yeah.
on the phone. And I love playing COD Mobile. I play that all the time. Which is, it's just slightly different, But then Wally started playing Fortnite, and I'm like, I might give this another chance. So I did, and I started enjoying it. Now that I understood the whole deal and everything, I still can't build for squat.
Yeah.
I'm not one of these people that can build, but it's still a lot of fun, either way.
Yeah, I
And
tried it.
especially playing with Wally, he makes it
Oh
funny
yeah.
along the way. So
I
Yeah.
tried it back when it first dropped on the Switch, like a year or so ago, and
Yeah.
I didn't like it at all. I played like 3 or 4 rounds. I was like, man, this just is not my thing, and I erased it off my hard drive or whatever, and Wally started playing it again, and I was like, I'm gonna have to give it another try. So I tried it on my own a couple days ago, and actually I played like 2 matches, instantly died the first match. I was like, that sucks. The second match I won, and I was like, oh, okay, that was kind of easy. So I don't know. It's kinda, I don't know what to think about it until I actually get to play with you guys and because all I did for that second game was follow my squad. That's all
and
I didn't do anything.
that's the fun part of it is playing with a team is much different than playing solo. So you play solo, and you're just relying on your own skill
Yeah.
or the lack of the other person's skill that you encounter anyway.
Yeah.
You know, which is in my case, I don't really have a lot of skill when it comes to this game, but I'm hoping that I run into somebody that's just plays worse than I do. So,
Which actually isn't that hard to do, because
yeah, really.
there was actually got one good kill that second game. I was just kind of running around. I didn't know where I was. I
Yeah.
was trying to just find my squad because I saw him on the map like way far away. So I had to run to. Actually, I got in a car and went all the way across the map to meet him. And I was trying to like just run there at first, and somebody started shooting me, and I couldn't figure out where they were coming from. And I saw them coming up over this rise, like to my left, and they were like hitting me and shooting me, and I just turned around and
Yeah.
just started shooting, and I killed him. I was like, okay, well, that was kind of easy.
That worked.
Yeah, I liked
Yeah,
it.
it's much different whenever you're in a squad.
Yeah,
And you're actually like playing together. It's a lot of fun. Because it has the voice chat and everything built into the game, so you can like
Mm.
talk to each other and communicate. And obviously it's a lot of fun. Especially if it's people and you can joke with them and everything. So it makes it a
Yeah.
lot more fun.
Well, I definitely think that I know we're gonna do another community game night this month. I'm still waiting on you to tell me what night you want to do it, Derek. But whatever night we do it, I still want to get another good game of Among Us with everybody, because that one was really fun, and I would like to
Yeah,
actually
it
do
was.
some Fortnite one of these community nights. Whoever wants to play, I know. Bethany already said no. It's like, I hate
I
Fortnite.
said,
Like, nah, I'm out.
no.
Like, well, all right. So I actually want to do the Jackbox games too.
Oh, those are great.
Is it Jackbox or Jaxbox? Jackbox.
Jackbox.
Because I've seen a couple of streams of people playing Jackbox, and that looks really fun. That would be really
Yeah.
fun to do for.
I'm not
community.
familiar with those with the Jackbox
It's
game.
almost
What
like
is-
different like little party games. Like, you probably know more about it than I do, Derek.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. It's like a collection of party games that you can do with.
Oh, okay.
It's trying to remember some of them, because back when we were doing stuff with the Nerd Cave, we would do Jackbox
Mhm.
quite a bit.
Okay.
They're a lot of fun. I think
Okay.
that'd be a perfect set for a game night.
And I think
See, I'm sorry, you were
I was gonna say, I think whoever's actually running the game has to have the game, and then sends out an invite to people, and they can play like on their phones and stuff, or iPads,
Yeah.
whatever, and they don't have
Okay.
to have the game. They get the invite, and then they can go and play the game without actually having to have
Oh.
the game. So that's the
Wow.
cool thing about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Yeah, when you were talking about Jackbox, the first thing that pops into my mind was those You Don't Know Jack
Yeah,
games.
yeah. I think that's
And
what they're
that's what
based
I was
on.
like, wait a minute. Wait, what's he talking about?
I think it's the same people that made that, like, back in the
Oh,
day.
man.
I
Okay.
think. I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
it could be. But yeah, I would like to do that. And but speaking of our community, you are a community administrator for the Discord, and of course here on my Twitch channel. So how did you like come about to actually be a part of our Discord community?
Well, I got the invite, but I stumbled upon y'all's podcast. I think it was a little over a year ago now, and I had been looking for something good to listen to. In my job, I'm on the road a lot, so and music, it gets kind of repetitive. It's fine. That they just play whatever they want on the radio. So I end up, you end up paying for services, and then you listen to the same stuff over and over, because then it's like, hey, these are your favorites. We'll play these 15 times in a row.
Yeah.
Here you go. And it's fine. I like it, but at the same time, you want to listen to something else. And so I was looking for, I suppose, like-minded people, I suppose you can say. I enjoy a lot of retro gaming, and and things of that sort, just gaming in general. And I found a few other podcasts that I was listening to for a while, and when I stumbled upon you guys, I think the first one that I listened to, if I'm remember correctly, was the Metroid episode, or Super Metroid.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
And because Super Metroid is like one of my favorites to play. Retro wise, the Super Nintendo is probably like my favorite system. Sega Genesis, it's fine. Sega Genesis was fun. I loved my Genesis. I had a Genesis before I had a Super NES, but just some things were just better on the Super Nintendo, even though it was technically kind of a slower machine. It didn't have some things
didn't have
that
blast
it could do.
processing.
Yeah, it didn't have blast processing. That's what it was. Yeah. But I will say that there were some games on the Genesis that just played better. Um, Earthworm Jim is probably one of my, where you can obviously see like a big difference between the two. It's the same game, but it just doesn't play the same. And so Earthworm Jim is just like one of those where you can tell. So anyway, long story short, now I'm getting all long-winded and stuff. So I was looking I was looking for you guys. That's what it was.
Yeah.
I was looking for you guys. So
Well,
I was like,
we're here for you.
well, I like this one here. Let me see what they have to say about Donkey Kong Country. And oh, wait a minute. Let me see what they have to say about Mark. So I skipped around a bunch of episodes because that's kind of how I look through podcasts. Is like I try to see if there's anything that is going to interest me, and see what you guys thought. And I was like, I like the way these guys think. So I started listening, and then one day I got the courage to start participating in the chat, because I was just I would listen, but I never I didn't really participate. That wasn't my thing, and I'll be honest, I think you guys are the first ones that I actually ever participated in the chat. Like I've watched people stream on Twitch and things, and YouTube and whatnot, but I never really participate. I'm just kind of there, lurking. So, but you guys made it fun, and I wanted to, I guess, to be a part of that experience, with you guys, and you guys are really welcoming, and and that made it a good experience. I'll say that, y'all were, very welcoming, and just like, yeah, hey, welcome to the, stream, and blah blah blah, and I can't remember the conversation now, but I just remember I was like, these guys are nice, and they actually care about the people in the audience and stuff, because there was a group of people just chatting away, and and I decided to participate one day, and and I was like, man, these guys actually pay attention to what's going on in the chat. Now I know, like, once you get super huge, not that you're not now, but once you get, but when one gets to a certain degree, it gets tough to keep up with the chat.
Well,
I
that's
mean,
why I
like you look up.
That's why I like where we're at now. I mean, I'd like for our show to be, humongous with like 50,000 downloads, or whatever. But I like it where we're at now, because we can pay attention to the chat.
Yeah,
we can interact, and the thing is, a lot of people. I know there's a lot of people that come to the Discord server and stuff, and they're like, kind of timid, because I'm that same way with other communities that I'm a part of, like that I first started being a part of. Is like, you come in, you're like, you don't really know these people, but
you're the new guy.
Yeah, you're the new guy, but like we try to be as welcoming and warming to everybody, and our Discord server it's like a whole other social media like that we all just take part in every day. So if you're tired of like Facebook and Twitter, like come join our Discord. Like we have a lot of cool people in there, and Discord's not just a like we're using it now for video and calling, but it's an actual really good platform for building a community. And you can use it on your phone, like get the app, and you can use it like it's almost like a chat board and social media. So just try it out. Just come check it out. And if you don't like it, you don't have to stay. If you do, like we have a lot of fun every day talking about stuff.
Oh yeah, there's always
no drama.
There's always
Yeah, no drama.
Yeah, that's especially a big plus about the community, especially since it's kind of like you're saying, it's still relatively small, I guess. It's a nice, it's a good size.
Your significant other said, so he's a creeper. He got me the same
What?
way. Creeper.
Wait a minute. Hey, now I'm not allowed to say certain things on this channel, but you.
Yeah, like back with what you said before about looking on trying to find podcasts of stuff that you're interested in, like retro gaming and stuff like that's really, Derek, that was the reason we started this show, is because there were no retro gaming shows at the time.
Well, I remember after we did our first couple of episodes, I did a search through iTunes to see what other retro gaming shows there were, and there might have been 2 or 3, but I feel like we were really, one of the first to really do it to the extent that we have.
And right out the gate, like our first few episodes were hitting like 250, 300, like 400 downloads, and we're like, I think we've hit a mark, because we were just gonna do seasonal.
Yeah,
like 6 episodes in the winter, 6 episodes in the spring, and we were like, man, we might as well just like keep going, because we got crazy download numbers for like a new podcast.
Well, the crazy thing is, had we stayed seasonal, the Discord chat may not even exist.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm glad we're still here. Like this is, like Tom Merritt from Daily Tech News Show always says, you get the chat room you deserve. And I think we're all good people, and we all have the same interests. None of us want to be dicks. None of us want to like, start drama or anything. It's like we just share memes and just talk to each other all day, and it's awesome. And it's always what I've wanted. When we started this podcast, like I want a good community of people to hang around with, and like we play games together. We're doing the community game nights now, and it's just going to keep growing. So, and I'm glad that you were in on the ground floor, because you're allowed to kick people when we're not around to come in and try to start drama. Like you're our bouncer. You and Bethany, you're our bouncers.
Get
him some sunglasses and an earpiece.
Yeah. I have one of those somewhere.
We need to get you a Nerd Cave Retro bouncer shirt.
The official muscle of the Nerd Cave Retro podcast.
Yeah. With guns like these.
But you do have a Twitch that you play a lot of retro games. I watched you play. What was that? What were you playing that night? I watched like a week or so ago. That was Streets of Rage, wasn't it? Or
no. Double Dragon Neon.
Yeah, Double Dragon Neon. That game looked cool.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun, and I know I had mentioned it to you. I know before, and I know you weren't like aware of it much, because I was like, he would love this game, because it's just a lot of fun. They and that's what they did. They made a game that was all about the nostalgia of the '80s and Double Dragon, and they combined the old the previous 3 games into one kind of game. Or they took what was best out of those games and made it into one game, and it's just a lot of fun. It's very, very fun to play with with a second player, because you can essentially never die. If you can get to the other person. What ends up happening is if one guy gets knocked down, you run out of health or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of dying and respawning immediately, the other a cassette tape will appear right over you. Over the fallen character, the other person can come over to you and press
Oh, that's
a
cool.
button and revive you. And it's funny because in that cassette tape, a pencil will go into the reel and start winding up the tape while you're hitting
cool.
the button, and it makes a little noise, and it's funny. So you can essentially revive each other like as many times as you can without getting, because the enemies are still going to try to get you no matter what. But it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun whenever whenever you have more than one player.
You should definitely check that out, Derek, if you haven't ever seen that Double Dragon Neon, dude. It was cool. Like,
it's a lot of fun.
So I was watching. I was like, man, I got to purchase this. This is a definite purchase coming up soon.
Is it on the Switch?
They have it on Steam right now. I'm not sure if they're. It's coming to Switch. I think I saw an announcement about it. I think it's coming to Switch.
If that's not on the Switch, that's surprising because that's that was.
I did see an announcement. It is coming to Switch. I don't know when. I don't know. It might already be on Switch. I don't know. You may want to check. I hadn't checked, but I did see an announcement that they were going to release it on Switch. However, it's only going to be local co-op, so it's not going to be online co-op. Like if you get it on Steam, you can play online with your friends and whatnot and everything. So if somebody else has it on Steam, then you can play it online. Originally it came out like on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360.
Really?
So you were able to play it online that way. But now it's kind of the PS3 and Xbox 360 kind of aren't a thing these days. So
that's retro stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
What y'all need to start talking about is PS2 because that came out.
Hey, I told
more than 20 years ago now.
I told
more
Wally.
Than 20 years.
I told Wally on Twitter because he brought the same thing up. Why don't we do PS2 if we're gonna do GameCube games? Why don't we do PS2 and original Xbox? I said, well,
that's exactly right.
If you want me to do PS2 and Xbox games, then buy me a PS2 and an Xbox. Until then, I don't have those systems to review games. So there you go.
You know, that sounds like a cop-out to me. I don't know.
Unless I come across something at a flea market or something. Because I would love to have an original Xbox. I actually miss having an original Xbox.
I've never owned any Xbox except for the original one for about 2 weeks. I bought it from a friend, a coworker that was going to the upgrade to the 360 because that was like the new one at the time. So he was like, "Hey, you want to buy this?" And I was like, "Yeah." How much do you want for it? And he's like, $25. I said, "Sure." So I bought it with the intention of just turning it into an emulation machine. And at the time, that was like the best thing you could do. It was like the best. So that Raspberry Pi really wasn't a thing at the time. That I know of anyway. But this was like, if you wanted an emulation machine, you got an Xbox, bought Splinter Cell or one of the other games that you could hack the memory card with, and put it all in there because it had the hard drive and everything to hold everything, and it worked great. And another coworker found out about it, what I was gonna do, and she was like, "I'll buy it off of you." And I was like, "Okay, make me an offer." She was like, "I'll give you $100." So I bought it for 25.
Made a profit.
Sold it for 75, and I was like, "All right."
All the business.
Yeah.
So yeah. But I've never owned an Xbox to actually like to play or anything. I've never owned an Xbox. I've always been went from Nintendo to Sony, and it just kind of fell that way. I bought a PS2. My PS2 I loved, and then and it was the coolest thing because it had a built-in DVD player, and it was relatively inexpensive at the time, And they did the same thing with the PS3, and they were like, "Wow, it's got a Blu-ray player! Whoa, it's the new thing!" And it was at the time one of the cheaper Blu-ray players to buy, And so I did that, and I just kind of went from there, and I just never went to
Which
Xbox.
they've kind of broken that model at this point. Like PS2
Yeah,
was the cheap DVD player, the PS3 was the cheap Blu-ray player,
yep.
and now the PS5 is like not the new technology or whatever, but it's expensive as hell. Like it
Oh
doesn't
yeah.
like why?
I'm like, let's still make it. And supposedly they're still taking a loss. Eh, I I don't know how much of a loss they're taking, but
Mm,
yeah, I
I
don't know.
don't know. I think if well, I don't know. That's a conversation for a whole other show.
Yep.
um,
And if you start including PS2 games, you'll have to include Xbox games too.
of
So you're gonna have
course,
to buy an Xbox now.
I had a lot of good games for that original Xbox. I miss that thing. But actually, we got some a couple of news nuggets to go in tonight. We're actually running a little long, so Derek, you want to just do the top two, and we'll save the third and fourth one for next week. Those aren't very time enabled or whatever.
Yeah, sure.
All right, let's do that. This is from who sent this? This is from Tyler, aka One Wing Angel, to our email. It's for IGN.com. Netflix's Sonic Prime, Sonic the Hedgehog animated series confirmed for 2022.
Yeah.
Netflix has announced an all-new Sonic the Hedgehog series, Sonic Prime. The animated adventure will consist of 24 episodes, which will follow Sonic on a high-octane adventure where the fate of a strange new multiverse rests in his gloved hands. Whilst that might sound like a familiar premise, Netflix notes that the series is more than a race to save the universe, as the Blue Blur ultimately finds himself on a journey of self-discovery and redemption. What do you guys think? You excited for the new Sonic Prime series? Yes.
Yes. This made me so happy because Sonic's had several different incarnations of animated series, and I feel like more of them have been good than bad. You know, the one from the early '90s was great. The one that aired on ABC, Sonic X, was really solid. So I think they could do some really cool things with Sonic. It's weird because the movie came out in 2020. 2021 is his 30-year anniversary, but this animated series is coming out in 2022. So like
Yeah.
you're not putting anything on his actual anniversary. But either way, I think they have the potential to tell some really good stories with it.
Yeah, I agree. I had not, and don't shame me for this. I have not watched Sonic X or any of the other series that had come out in the past few years. And I actually loved Sonic growing up. Sonic 2 is probably my favorite Genesis game still. I think it's still probably the best Sonic game.
It's the
Is
perfect
Sonic
Sonic
2.
game.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Sonic 3 was cool for what it was. The graphics were slightly improved, and I did like the new and improved style. It was not the same for me though. Um, it was a little bit too gimmicky.
Yeah.
Uh, you had to do all this. Sonic 2 was about go and get there as fast as you can, and there was a little bit of slowdown here and there in some of the levels, but Sonic 3 just had to, you ended up having to, you had to open this thing and go over here, and let me go backtrack over here this way. And then Sonic and Knuckles had the whole, what is it, the mechanic where you jump up and you grab onto the thing and you have
Yep,
to,
from the Mushroom Zone.
and it was interesting, it was cool, but it slowed you down, and I didn't like that.
Bethany is in the chat room and says blasphemy.
But I'll argue Sonic 2 is the best. But I never really got much into the other stories. I didn't watch any of the shows. They just kind of flew by me, and it's not that I didn't want to watch them. They just flew past me.
Yeah.
And I did watch the old ones, the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, and the one that was just called Sonic the Hedgehog, which that one was like fantastic with Princess Sally in it.
It's the best Sonic
that one was
series.
fantastic. Yeah, I love that one. I used to read the comics back in the day, and
Me too.
and the comics were really good. really good story. It's really awesome.
I'm just
I
wondering
have,
if it's going to be, is it going to be 2D animation or is it going to be 3D? Because it doesn't
you know,
say in the
I don't know.
articles.
It's a good
Yeah, they really
question.
didn't say much about it. I didn't see.
I would hope for 2D, but if it's 3D, that's not going to deter me.
Yeah, I wish they would. I'm sure we'll probably, since it's 2022, I imagine we'll probably get a trailer probably around late summer.
Yeah.
At least I would think. And Bethany says he loves the original Sonic TV series and Sonic X. Still remembers the tune. Honestly, I never saw any of the original Sonic series either. I mean, I saw them here and there, but the Sonic X was surprising that I liked it because I love the animation style of it, and also we coined a new term, uncomfortably sexy, which I'm like, I felt very. It made me feel some sort of way.
All you have to do is watch the first
feelings.
episode of Sonic X.
Yeah,
You'll know what we're talking
as
about.
soon as you're there, you're like, oh, that's what they're talking about.
It's not hard to miss. We'll say that.
Well, I'm gonna have to watch Sonic X over the weekend, I suppose.
Yeah,
It's a really solid series. It's really good.
I've been meaning to get into it. I had it in my queue somewhere where one of these streaming services, I can't remember which one, whether it's Hulu or Netflix or one of those that it was on. I don't know if it's still there, but I had it in my queue and I just kind of haven't done it yet.
Yeah. No, I feel your pain on that. Let's see. Our next story comes to us from NintendoLife.com. DuckTales NES Prototype unearthed and features an unused song. Capcom brought us a remastered edition of DuckTales several years back, but we still hold a lot of love for the original NES version. Offering us a unique platforming adventure, DuckTales was widely noted for its excellent soundtrack, the Moon theme most prominently, though it only featured a dozen tracks. Within the last week, a new prototype has since been unearthed. Dated around February 5th, 1989, as per the cutting room floor, is our earliest ever look at the iconic game as such. Features few differences due to its developmental state. Certain key features are missing, but more excitingly, a previously unused music track titled Map has been discovered. The song only runs for 56 seconds, but you can immediately hear clear differences between the two themes. And there's a YouTube link in the article if you want to hear the actual song. So what do you guys think about this?
dude, I love that they're finding all these prototypes. It just seems like every week they're unearthing a new prototype of games that were released. Like they're finding like original prototypes and stuff that was never released. And it's an exciting time because we're at a point now where people are just finding these things all over the place. And it's almost like, what are they going to find next? And this is really cool. Like this is one of my favorite NES games, and for them to find something where there's like a lost track, because I'll be honest, this is like one of my top favorite NES game soundtracks is this game. Like that Moon theme is something else, man. Is that like Moon theme is probably one of the greatest NES themes on that system. And
yeah, as far as single tracks, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, and then you find a new track that's never been heard. Like it's just really awesome. I love it.
Yeah, I feel like at least once or twice a month we hear about some type of story of something new being discovered. And it's one of the highlights of honestly doing the entire show is finding cool stories like that, because otherwise probably wouldn't have ever known about it.
I personally didn't actually play DuckTales much until a few years ago, and I enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun. It's got a fair amount of challenge to it. And I mean, I guess I shouldn't be surprised by that. I mean, when system it came out for, I did some years ago buy the remake that they did, or remaster. I don't know if you want to call it the one that they did, and it was, what was it? Kind of 3D-ish looking and everything.
Yeah. It was almost like
it was like PlayStation 3 or something.
It was like playing it looked more like the cartoon like
Yeah.
the characters from the card, but it was like almost like the way Mega Man 11 looks. Like it's got that cartoonish look, but it's more like a 3D world. And I never played that one. They had that one. I think that only came out for the 360, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that was where I played it for the first time.
Yeah, I had. I thought I got it for the PS3. I think could be, or maybe I'm thinking about. I might be thinking. I know I played it though. I don't know if maybe I played it at a friend's house, but I know I tried it, and I was like, man, this is a cool game. You know, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
but
they should definitely that remaster is good enough. They need to put it out on all platforms at this point.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like just keep putting it out, like on whatever PS5. You got the new Xboxes. Like just put it out. Like just keep putting it out. People will buy it. It's one of the greatest games ever made, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's funny that that you say that because I mean it's not like it would be difficult. For them to do that. It's already made. They just need to introduce it into the new, whatever the ecosystem is, PlayStation, Xbox, whatever. Because they've done that. Like, so I had a PlayStation Now subscription, which is different than PS Plus. With the PS Now subscription, you can play. It's essentially like the way Game Pass works, and they have a bunch of games that were released, and it was like 800 plus game.
I think I had that for a little while on my PS3. I remember. I think it was a trial version or something of that.
I don't know if did they do it on PS3. I don't remember.
Or was it PS4?
I know it's on PS4 for sure because I had it last year and I just kind of didn't renew it. But they have where you can play. You can download PS4 games. You can stream PS3 games and PS2 games, and they have a really good library to choose from. But one of the games that's in there, why, is Super Star Wars, and you're just like, what? That's not a PlayStation game.
Yeah.
But you can play it on there, so it's there. We have the technology, people. Why aren't they just introducing some of these? They can get the license. Just do it.
Yeah, because the PS4 that I bought was the Battlefront version of the PS4. So it came with Super Star Wars, Jedi Starfighter, Bounty Hunter, and what else? I don't remember what else came. Well, another game came with it. It was like 4 or 5 different Star Wars titles from like old systems. And I was like, man, they should just do this more. Like, give me, like a new Xbox, but like, give me the I don't know, like just like a Halo version of it, but give me all the old Halo games, like already preloaded on the system. Like I would do that, or Gears of War. Like, give me all the old Gears of War games, or just whatever, Like, that's just, like, that makes good business sense, especially for games that are, like, 20 years old that nobody's buying anymore. Why not just throw them in for free?
If you want to get me to buy an Xbox, you do that Halo package.
Yeah, no kidding.
I would get that in a heartbeat.
Dude, I would go back and play the hell out of some Halo 1, 2, and 3. Holy crap. And did you guys ever play Halo? Was it Halo Wars? Where it was, like a... it was like a real-time strategy game, almost like
yeah, I know what you're talking about. I never actually played it, but I have watched gameplay of it.
That was a fun game. Like, I love those type of games. Yes, I know, Bethany, that people are still buying Halo, but nobody's going back and buying Halo 1.
Well, I will tell you this. I almost did. A few weeks ago.
He's right. The Master.
The Master Chief Collection.
Yeah, Master Chief Collection.
I was going to buy it. It was on sale for like $19 or $15, and it comes with 1, 2, and 3. And I was like, I love the first Halo, so I was going to buy it, but I ended up just doing the Game Pass, and it's included in Game Pass. So.
And he wrote Master Chef, not Master Chiefs.
I buy that game.
It's a cooking game. Oh man,
Starring
yeah,
Jon
actually,
Favreau as his character and chef.
that reminds me, I did a Nerd Tunes about that a few years ago. I did a Master Chef where it was a Master Chief and he had on like a chef's hat and a spatula and a something else, and he was like, "I'm not here to make friends." It said Master Chef. I have to repost that. Let's go
Cortana
ahead
reading the menu.
and before we go into the review tonight, Derek, why don't you tell everybody what kind of shout outs you got over there?
Absolutely. As always, we want to shout out our awesome patrons over at patreon.com/nerdcaveretro. We want to shout out Armez Jackson, Axeblade07, Daniel Salmon, John Jekyll, aka Mixmaster, our guest tonight, Mr. Carlos Longoria, Staff Sergeant Sketch, Randy Bailey, Tyler Watson, Justin Olson, Brandon Rutledge, and Donner Party of Five. Thank you guys so much for your continued contributions. And because you have helped to keep the lights on for us, we are going to continue to do those awesome commentary tracks. We just did an episode of Super Mario Brothers Super Show and Sonic X, so you can check those out now. And also, I wanted to update everybody. The February poll has expired for the roundtable discussion, and Donkey Kong won. So we'll be doing. I can't wait to talk some Donkey Kong Country. Yeah. That's going to be so much fun. So we'll be doing a Donkey Kong roundtable later this month. There's a poll up for March, which you can check out now. If you want to do that, head on over to patreon.com/nerdcaveretro.
And tonight we're talking about spooky music. Resident Evil 3 is a survival horror game developed and published by Capcom. It is a remake of Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, which came out in 1999, and it follows Jill Valentine and Carlos Oliveira as they attempt to survive a zombie apocalypse while being hunted by the intelligent bioweapon Nemesis. It was released on Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One on April 3rd, 2020. It also includes an online multiplayer mode, Resident Evil Resistance. It generally received favorable reviews with praise for its graphic, presentation, and gameplay, but criticism for its short length, missing elements from the original, and pacing. The game shipped over 2 million copies within a week. The reason I really wanted to play this, I got it for $20 on sale on the PlayStation Store, and I am fresh off of the remake they did for Resident Evil 1. It was like a 2004 remake, which I played it on the Switch. Still a great game, still holds up, and I loved the Resident Evil 2 remake, which I think was the best game I played in 2019. Like, that game was just, I love Resident Evil 2. That remake is everything I wanted and more. Like, I cannot praise Resident Evil 2 enough. I don't really remember playing Resident Evil 3. I know I probably did, but I don't remember anything from it. And I do sort of have some memories. And I don't know if this may be a different Resident Evil game at the time, but I remember one taking place in like a mansion, like on an island. Does that sound even remotely recognizable to either of you guys? Because in this game, there was no island and there was no mansion.
Well, and that's something that I'm curious about, because someone who's not as knowledgeable on the Resident Evil games, do all the stories fit together? You know, like, is Resident Evil 2 an actual like sequel to Resident Evil 1, or is it just kind of different characters but same situation kind of thing?
3 is actually a prequel to part 2 because it takes place before Leon Kennedy gets to Raccoon City. It takes place as Raccoon City is going to hell. That's basically the whole point of the game. And you're playing Jill Valentine, who is one of the protagonists in the first game. You play as either Chris Redfield or Jill Valentine. And I'll be totally honest, I like this game, but I really felt there was something missing because I was so used to, with Resident Evil 2 that I played a while back, you get the two sides of the same story. You get to play Leon Kennedy and oh crap, what was her name? I forgot her name. The other protagonist in the game. I completely brain farted on her name. And then in the first game, you got to play as Jill Valentine and Chris Redfield. So you basically have two different storylines going on at the same time, and you get to play both of those storylines. But this game had none of that. You had the two characters. You had Jill Valentine and Carlos, but it's sort of like you flip-flop back and forth, and it was like one playthrough through the game, and then you're done. Like, that was it. There's no, like, part two, like, to go through the second part of the story. And honestly, I would rather it have been that way. Like, let me play one story as Jill, and the second story as Carlos, and, like, let them, let them crisscross at certain points. But to go through the whole game and just kind of flip-flop between the characters, and then you get to the end, and it's like, that's it. I kind of felt like there was a huge, like, I didn't feel fulfilled at the end of the game. Like, I liked the game. The game is great, but it just felt empty. I don't know. That's the only word I have for it.
It takes away a little bit of that replay value, I
Yes.
think. I do agree. Resident Evil 2 was fantastically done. Neither story was super long to where it was a chore,
Yeah.
to get through or anything like that. They were just long enough to give you a good experience, and then you get to go back and do it again as the other side of the, on the other side of the story, and then you see how both are, what. There's an explosion over here. Well, what happened? You don't know what happened until you play as the other character, and then you're like, oh, that was the explosion. And so it was a great story, and it was really well told. And I will agree. I haven't actually done the whole playthrough on this one. I played it a while back. I played the demo when it came out, right away, and the demo was fun. But when I sat down and I played the game, I didn't get too far into the game. This is one that I have to like revisit and just, I'm probably just gonna start over.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will agree. It's kind of like, yeah, you play a little, as Jill, and you're going through the story, and then you get so far, and then all of a sudden now you're playing as Carlos, and you're there, and then and and it does flip flop a lot, and that would have been fine if they gave you the option to like play the whole other side of things, and instead of just throwing it all together in one big story, and that's it.
It kind of felt lazy to me. Like, it felt like they didn't want to do the two storylines. Like, it just felt like maybe it was too much work, so they just kind of mashed them together into one story. And honestly, like, that's not really what I wanted. I wanted more of what the first two games gave me. And like going back and playing Resident Evil 1 was still a fun experience because you kind of get, you get sucked into that story, and you feel lonely, and you feel like I don't know, like you want to get to like go solve puzzles, and you get really sucked into it. And this one, I felt more like I just wanted to get, I don't want to say get through it, but I wasn't as sucked into it as I normally get into Resident Evil games. Like, I just didn't was immersed. I don't know. What were you
I was just gonna say is, you guys talking about the story, I think it would have added a whole new dynamic to what could have been the same story if you played as just Jill. Once you complete that, then you play as Carlos. But to have the two together is just, I don't know. Like, I don't like that.
And it was really short too. Like, if you just sort of casually play like Resident Evil 2, like Resident Evil 1 took me, I think, something like 9 hours to do the first story. with Chris, and then maybe 5 or 6, because you kind of do some of the same puzzles over again, so you kind of know what the answers are, and you go through the second story a lot quicker. But I was just kind of casually playing over the course of like a week and a half or 2 weeks, and you get roughly 15 hours of playtime out of that first game, and then the second game is roughly about 12. You like basically 6 hours per story to go through it, and you feel like by the time you get done, you're like, wow, that was a really fun experience, and I got my money's worth out of it. And you get like Carlos, like you said, there's a lot of replay value. Like I can go back through and play that game again and again. But Resident Evil 3, it's like, all right, I'm done. I'm probably not gonna play this again.
Yeah, the one thing that I did appreciate though was the way that they did have Nemesis in certain parts of the story.
Yeah.
I think they did that well
Yes.
in this one, because in the original one, I didn't really play 3 much. I didn't play Nemesis much. I played it a couple of times at a friend's house. He had it, and I would try it and everything, but that's kind of you have to sit down and take your time to play it and everything. But I got to play it for a little while. But from what I recall on the old one, Nemesis just kind of follows you around almost the entire game.
Yeah.
And
that's actually...
and just appears here and there.
Yeah.
Like in certain spots, you turn a corner and he's right there, and you're like, oh no, and that was pretty much it. But this, the new one, the remake, it definitely, there's sections where he's introduced, and then you go do this, and then again, so it's not just like a constant, like he's just following you the whole time.
Well, like you hit it right on the head. I definitely felt way more threatened by Nemesis than I did with Mr. X in part 2. Like Mr. X is scary, but I felt like he's pretty easily stunned and you can get around him. But Nemesis is like I would just start shaking. Like this dude is it's like a mouse trying to take on a tank. It's just not even remotely fair. He's so overpowered.
I would say too that Nemesis was harder to avoid. I think that it felt like there was less space for you to move around, whereas in 2, you could get Mr. X to follow you to the main hall and just
just run,
walk around the whole thing, and be like, well, that'll take him 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I would do all the time. Like he's so slow that I'm just like, all right, well, I'll just run to the other side of the mansion and do what I gotta do. It'll take him 30 minutes to get here. But Nemesis is like you stun him and you're running, and then you turn a corner and he drops down in front of you, and you're like, ah! And you start screaming like, oh my god, I just want to get away. And that they did really well. That's one thing I can say about the game. The game is good. I'm not saying it's a bad game. I just feel like it's not worth $60. I feel like I got my money's worth with just paying $20. I feel like 20 is a good price for it, maybe even 15. But a full $60 game, it's not worth $60.
I'll agree with that. I mean, I think it's still $20 right now until the 18th, I think, on the PlayStation Store. I think I was looking at it the other day, and I was like, I wonder how much it is right now, because it was $20 on Steam a few weeks ago, and I was like, I might buy this on PC and just play it on PC, and then it just kind of escaped my memory, and I totally forgot about buying it. And then I saw it on the PlayStation Store, and I was like, oh, well, it's still $20 on the PlayStation Store, so I may still get back into it and everything, because I did play it, but that was on a different system, so I have to, different account and everything, so I have to rebuy it. But it $20 I think is a good price for it. I don't think this is worth the $60 asking price that they still want for this thing.
I know.
They think they're Nintendo.
That's why I picked it up for 20, because I'd heard some reviews, people talked about it like, man, this thing is not what we wanted it to be. People were expecting more Resident Evil 2, and got like a way shorter experience with like less It felt more like an action game than it did like solving puzzles and things like that.
One complaint that I did have when I did play it was how long it took you to aim. And I don't mean the aiming portion. I mean the part where it just like zeroes in and it's like a focused aim.
Yeah.
That kind of delayed a little bit too long for my liking. You know, it was like it shouldn't take. You know, and it was only like a second, but still, as tight as this game was, it was like I said, there was significantly less room in this game to move around than there was in Resident Evil 2.
Mm-hmm.
And in this one, you know, you ran into a zombie or something, you know, you were usually in a corner somewhere, and it was like right there, 3 feet in front of you, and you had 2 seconds to aim for the head, and then wait for that, you know,
which is basically
narrow down.
I went through the whole game with a shotgun. As soon as I got a shotgun, I took that shotgun through the whole game, because you don't really need to aim with that thing. Other than that, I carried that and the as many grenades, like with the grenade launcher, like just the shotgun and the grenade launcher. I went through the whole game with those, as many. Like making as much ammo as I could with as much powder as I could find. But yeah, and Derek, I know you're not huge into Resident Evil, and I would say if you are going to go back and play some Resident Evil games, I would just suggest getting like I said, the original, the remake that they have on the Switch right now, and Resident Evil 2. I don't know if you have a PlayStation 4 or anything, but if you could play.
I do.
Oh, you do? Yeah, I would definitely pick up Resident Evil 2, because that game is almost perfection. The way they went back and they took everything that was awesome. I mean, it's basically the same game as the original, same environment, some of the same puzzles and all that kind of stuff. But they just added so much more to it, more story, more places to, more puzzles and things to do. So by the time you're done with that, like, when you're done with the first story, with Leon, you're excited to go back through it a second time. It's not like, oh crap, I got to go through this again. No, it's like you're ready to jump into it a second time. But this game is one of those things like, just wait till it's on sale. Like $20 was good, but honestly, I would think it should be even lower. Like maybe a $15 game. Because like I said, I played it for like 5 or 6 hours, and I was done. And I have no, I don't want to go back and play it again. Like I would go back and play Resident Evil 4 or 1 and 2. Like I don't have to go back and play this one again. And
I feel like every. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and it's a good game. I'm not saying it's bad. Like actually, the final time you fight the Nemesis is one of the coolest scenes in video game history. But it's like it's a few really cool moments and otherwise kind of just meh, like just run of the mill game. But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. What were you gonna say?
Oh, no worries. I was just gonna say that every franchise has that one game that you're just like, it's okay. I mean, look how much we criticize Adventure of Link.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like every I mean, even the Mario games have some that aren't as good or as well received. So that's no surprise.
I think probably out of a scale of 10, I would give this one just a 7. I mean, it's not bad. It's not great.
That's not a bad score.
Like, it's worth playing, but like I said, just wait for it to go on sale. Especially if you're a Resident Evil fan, it's definitely worth playing because it's more Resident Evil, and I love Resident Evil, but I just feel like it's definitely one of the. There are so many other Resident Evil games that are. It ranks up there with like Resident Evil 5 and 6. They're not great either, but they're kind of more action games than they are like survival horror, which is what I feel 1, 2, and 4 are kind of the masterpieces of the entire Resident Evil franchise.
Yeah, I will agree with that. Honestly, I did not really play past 3 for a good many years. And the reason for that was because I did not like the tank controls. Resident Evil was a game that I had fun playing at a friend's house,
Yeah.
but I didn't really get immersed into it because I just could not do those tank controls, and it
Yeah.
really just I just disgusted by it, you know. So I didn't like it. But when they redid, when not redid, when they did 7, that's when I reintroduced into the franchise, and 7 is a fantastic game. I don't know if you've played
I
7.
still haven't played 7 yet. I want to
Uh,
go back and play 7. I definitely want to play the
you
new one.
it is on the PlayStation Store for 9.99 right now on sale.
I'll go get it.
So they have that one, and for Derek they have let me see. I think I looked at it. Resident Evil 2, the remake, is 15.99. They're all on sale right now.
Oh, dude.
So
Okay.
you might want to go ahead and get it right now while it's
That's-
on sale. $16 for that for Resident Evil 2 is fantastic
Yeah,
price.
that is well
That's a
worth the
great
money.
game.
I'll
Yeah.
do it. I'll do it.
I will say that with Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, it had a good creepy vibe. They redid the whole horror thing. They fixed it. It wasn't like an action game. There was plenty of action, but it was about the environment, and man, the environment was fantastic. You get into it, and that game was just
See, that's
awesome.
what made the first and the second one so great is because you were in these enclosed environments that just
Yeah.
you felt it like it immersed you in that experience. That's what they kind of lost. Like I felt like 3 was
Yeah.
way too, I don't know, out in the open. It didn't feel like claustrophobic and like you're trapped. And like that's what I didn't like about like 5 and 6 is it just didn't feel like like survival horror movie. So I'm glad that 7, like I've watched some gameplay of 7. I've never played it, but definitely want to go and play it because I like
I
that feel
highly recommend it.
that it's gone back to that real just
Yeah.
back to survival horror. Like that's my jam.
Yeah. There is uh there's creepiness to this game, and you feel it as you go along, and there's sections of the game, there's jump scares and things, that just they get you. They really do. If you haven't like just watched the playthrough or something, and you're playing this game for the first time, and I highly recommend that's how you experience it. You put the headphones in, and
Yeah.
and just immerse yourself into what's going on. It really there are some really creepy moments in the game, and and just some of that stuff you're just like, what?" And you just it's, but in a good way. It's just like it's impossible to believe at some point. So I definitely think 7 was probably a better game than 3 remake. I will say that. It just the amount that I've played it,
Yeah.
but it's a lot of fun.
Derek, now knowing that Resident Evil 2 is $15.99 right now, like, dude, you need to jump on that right now. Anybody listening to this that hasn't played Resident Evil 2, you are missing out on one of the greatest games ever made. Like, I cannot praise that game enough. It's so good.
I'm definitely gonna do it.
But that's going to bring us to the end of the show. So, Carlos, thank you for joining us on the show this evening, and thank you for being part of the community.
Well, thank you for having me. I enjoyed myself here, and I enjoyed being part of the community. Everybody's it's like we're all friends. It's just everybody. Just we're just there and we're chit chatting, and half the time it's like a conversation ends at night, but it's like the conversation just never really ends. It's always like some kind of continuation from the day before
Yeah.
or something, and that makes it a lot of a lot of fun, because you can just keep talking about other
You
stuff.
can always tell who wakes up first.
Yeah, yeah.
But tell everybody where they can find you on the internet.
I made one of the streamer links pages, so it's all on there. You know, instead of going because I think my Twitter there's a one at the end and stuff, and then Facebook, and so I ended up just going to make a streamer links page. So you can find me at streamerlinks.com/I am the rampage, all one word. So
streamerlinks.com/I am the rampage. Got it. I will put that
that
link.
has my Twitter and
Awesome.
Twitch and all that stuff all on that one page.
I will put that in the show notes so everybody can just click it and they can go straight to your stuff.
Thank you.
So what about you, Derek? What you got going on this week?
Just as always, check out the Derek Diamond Experience podcast. New episodes drop every Thursday on all podcasting platforms and YouTube. This week, I brought back the top 5 list with top 5 film and TV couples. That was a lot of fun to do.
I can't believe I missed that, dude. And nobody said Turk and Carla. I'm so disappointed. And all you out there, nobody said Turk and Carla. I'm so mad.
I was just listening to that episode this morning as I was driving, and I said, man, I have missed the Daily Diamond. I tell you that.
That show was so fun to do, man.
It was fun.
That was a great way to start the day too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, new episodes drop every Thursday. Anywhere you get your podcast, and follow the show on social media at D Diamond Podcast.
Fantastic. Let me play our. Actually, let me tell everybody before we go. We have merchandise for sale now.
Yeah.
Just go to our Twitter or Facebook, and it's tpublic.com/ I think it's /nerdcaveretro, because I put that as everything. But if that doesn't work yet, it should. But if it doesn't, just go to our Facebook or our Twitter and just follow the link. We've got it pasted pretty much everywhere. You can get yourself a couple of t-shirts, some mugs, masks, stickers. We got all kinds of stuff over there. So it's easy to find it. If you can't pull it up with tpublic.com/nerdcaveretro, just head over to our Twitter or Facebook, and you can find the links there. Go get yourself some merch. We already had a couple sales this week, so I'm excited about that. So everybody go get you some merch. Hell yeah. Put some money in the Nerd Cave coffers so we can afford nice things.
So we can stay in business for another one.
Yeah. Keep us in business for
keep
another
the
year.
lights on.
Exactly. But yeah, let me play our music here. If you'd like to email us, you can email us at nerdcaveretro@gmail.com. We're at nerdcaveretro.com. We're on Instagram and Twitter at nerdcaveretro, and individually at JayFunktastic, at Derek_Diamond, and at I am the Rampage1. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/nerdcaveretro, and we're on Patreon at patreon.com/nerdcaveretro, where if we stay above that $50 level every month, we keep doing the extra episodes every month. And this month was pretty fun. We did another episode of Super Mario Brothers Super Show and Sonic X. That was a fun episode to do. And this month, for February, we're going to be doing Transformers the movie. You don't want to miss that one. So head to patreon.com/nerdcaveretro. And if you can't do that, leave us a review wherever you listen to us. And Derek, tell them what's up.
Rampage!
Rampage!
You blow it! Monkey!
Alright, come on, audio hijack, work with me. Oh man, that was fun. That was a good show.
Yeah, that was good.
It was
That was a fun show. Absolutely.
And thanks everybody for watching on Twitch. And if anybody is watching right now that's not subscribed to the channel or follow me, just give me a follow. And yeah, go if you want to be a part of our Discord community, head over to our Twitter page, and I have it linked at the very top of our profile. Just go up there and click it. It'll take you right to the Discord page, and you will be a part of our community. So say goodnight, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.